record. Okay, happy Monday, guys. And tonight I just want to, we kind of were going back and forth about what topic we should talk about tonight and trying to come up with a good topic that I think is relevant to where you guys are at in your businesses. And so we decided that tonight's focus is going to be on really how to pour into your challengers so that you can develop them into the top coaches on your team. So, you're good now, Beck. You're muted. So also, I just want to make sure that everybody that's on here, before we get into that topic, you know, make sure that you found your week that you're going to be doing for our challenge group for our Morning Meltdown 100. Sarah, are you taking a picture? I can always tell when you are. She's like, the rest of us are going to look like hell, but she's going to look real good. So make sure that you know what week that you're responsible for. Check out the document. Shauna she put together a document that has what day you're responsible for in terms of life posts, and then also what week you're responsible in terms of posting for your challenge group, for the week that you're going to be posting for the challenge group thread. So it's super easy. I literally did it. It took me 10 minutes last night to schedule all the posts out. Shauna has in that file, she has the document, the Google Doc that has all the posts, the verbiage, and then she also has a separate document that has all of the images, and the images are labeled like day 10, day 11, so it's super easy to do. It literally took me 10 minutes. So make sure that you know what week that you're doing, and if you need help, just reach out to myself or Autumn or Shauna, because we've all already done ours. Okay. So tonight, I really, like I said, just wanted to touch base on kind of like how I have built my business and where a lot of my successful coaches have come from. And I wanted to touch on kind of pouring into your challengers. So let me just pull this up real quick because I just did a couple of quick notes on my phone. Okay, so a lot of people on this call are kind of earlier in their business, I would say. Like Ray and I have a welcome email that we send out, and Shauna actually put together a, she calls it, what does she call it? What does she call it, Ray? Her welcome email, but she calls it something different. She has a different name for it. But anyways, nonetheless, she has a document that she did, and she actually created it in Canva, and she shared an editable link that you guys can actually take. Getting Started Right Guide, that's what it's called. So she has a Getting Started Right Guide that she sends to all of her new challengers, and she made it so that all of us can put our information on it, your name, your pictures, and you can do whatever you want with it. So if you want something like that to send to your challengers, I think it's something great. But I'll just go back to like where I started in my business. And I didn't have a welcome email. I didn't have a Getting Started Right Guide. I really kept it super simple. And I want you guys not to get overwhelmed if you hear me say things like this big document, or, you know, if you're like, oh my God, I don't have that. I don't send anything like that to my new challengers. It's something super simple that we can get for you. It's very duplicatable. And if that's not where you're at in your business, we'll talk about kind of how I first started welcoming my challengers. So for me, the biggest thing is when you're talking to somebody that's going to jump in with you and that's going to buy a challenge pack and that's going to start a journey with you, you have to get to know them, because, you know, I'm a firm believer in there's no one size fits all for fitness. And I don't think you can effectively help your challenger if you know absolutely nothing about them, their life, their story, their goals, their why. So the very first thing that you have to do when you have a challenger is welcome them, you know, get to know them, build a conversation with them, get to know them better than you would just like when they're interested and they say, okay, I want to join you. Really get to understand them. I have a document that I send out to any of my challengers that's kind of like a Q&A where they get to tell me about themselves, what their why is, what their goals are, and I can show that to you guys at the end if you'd like. But it just helps you to get acquainted with them and to understand them better. And then the second thing that I do is I add them into our challenge group, and I always, Kenzie, shh, baby, shh. I always welcome them. I welcome them into the challenge group. And the reason, like, that sounds like such a simple thing, and I know all of you guys do it, but I always welcome them because it's a big group. It's become actually pretty massive. And it's intimidating, right? It's like when you're the new girl in a new school and you're walking into the cafeteria and you don't know where to sit, and you don't want to be the person to ask somebody if you can sit with them. You're just hoping somebody's going to say, hey, you can come sit with us. So that's kind of like that's why you're welcoming them into the group. It's a chance to introduce them, make them feel welcomed, and give them an opportunity to kind of share their story, and other people to introduce themselves. It just makes them feel more at home. So from there, you could, if you wanted to, send that welcome email that we're talking about, the Getting Started Right Guide. The goal of this email is to give them all of the necessary information that they need to be successful. So it outlines for them what Beachbody On Demand is, how they can access Beachbody On Demand, how to play their workouts, the modifier split screen. It's very basic. It goes into basic details on nutrition and meal plan breakdown and how they can find that under program materials. It's a little bit more about you, so it's personalized and they get to know you better. So that would be kind of the next step, is sending them that email so that they have all of the things, all the information that they need and the tools that they need to be successful. From there, what I typically do is I do an introductory Zoom call. And there's a couple of reasons why I do this. The first is obviously, to me, like on Instagram, I'm just like old school, so I think everybody's like fake. They're not real people, right? But getting on a Zoom call with them, it's like you arrange this set time and set day where the two of you are going to get to know each other better and you're talking face to face. So it gives them the opportunity to see that you are a real person with a real life and, kids or whatever your life looks like, a dog or, a job, you have a job schedule, work schedule. So it gives them the opportunity to get to know you better. And then it gives them the opportunity to kind of teach you about themselves. The other reason why I always do a Zoom is because I want to get them set up with nutrition. And to me, nutrition is 80% of the battle. And truthfully, I think the most important thing that we do as coaches. And I think a lot of coaches undersell this part of the business. And I think that that's where some people could do better as coaches, because truly where people are going to be the most successful is when they have a good workout program paired with a proper nutrition plan, not just a one size fits all nutrition plan that you typed up one day and now you send it to every person, whether it's Joe who's 190 pounds or Susie who's 100 pounds. It's a nutrition plan tailored to them, their life, their work schedule, what they like to eat, what they don't like to eat, and that's going to help them to be successful. So that also is an opportunity for you, once again, to get to know them better, start to learn their lifestyle. Truthfully, I learn a lot about my challengers through nutrition plan calls. It's kind of where all of the stuff comes out. Like that's where I figured out Cabral was like obsessive with dressings and like sauces. And I was like, how am I going to get her off all these condiments? But you get to learn a lot about people. You get to learn a lot about their lifestyle. Like, where do they eat out a lot? Do they, what's their work schedule like? Because you're going to learn that. If they're like, well, I'm at work from 7 in the morning until 9 at night, then you know that they have a tough work schedule that they're going to be up against. So it really helps, I feel like, to get to know them better. And then it also shows your value. And it's your opportunity to show them that you're valuable as a coach, that you know your shit, you have knowledge, you have worth as a coach, and you're giving them more than just a coach who's just going to sell them something and then never hear from them again. The third reason why I do a Zoom, and this is kind of what we're talking about tonight, is because it starts to get people comfortable with what we do as coaches. So, our weekly team calls are on a Zoom like we're on right now. It gets them comfortable with being on camera, which is huge for coaching. A lot of people are like, I wish I could do what you do, but I just don't like doing a video of myself on Instagram stories, or I don't like being on video or being on camera. So it starts to get them more acquainted with that and more comfortable with that. And that's really, the third reason why I would do my introductory Zoom. So you've sent them the email, they have all the tools that they need to be successful, but then you've taken it to the next step and you've helped set them up with a nutrition plan that's going to help them to be as successful as they possibly can be. From there, the fortune is in the follow-up. And all of this matters, guys, because I forget the number. I want to say Carl, or maybe it was Kim Carver that shared this at Summit last year, but it's like 79% of successful coaches, like the top coaches in this business and organization, started as a challenger and had success as a challenger. And that's what made them want to become a coach. So very rarely do you have somebody that just jumps into Beachbody that doesn't have a story, doesn't have a transformation, wasn't a successful challenger, that's like, hey, I want to coach because I want X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's the money, maybe it's the community, whatever it might be. But very rarely do you have somebody dive into this opportunity and be successful if they didn't first start as a challenger and have success with the programs and the products. So your goal as a coach is to pour so much into your challengers that you get them so successful that they fall so in love with the programs and products and their own transformation and their own journey that they can't help but want to share it with other people, because that's the beauty of coaching. That's literally what our job is, right? So from the nutrition plan, the fortune is in the follow-up. And this is where I think a lot of coaches kind of lose people. Because I had a call with my corporate rep, Robbie Carter, and he was saying to me that oftentimes too many coaches focus on the acquisition, not the retention. And so your goal as a coach is not to be that coach that just invites, and you sell like 50 challenge packs in a month, right? And you're like at SC 100 and you're top in the whole team and you're killing it volume wise, but then you don't continue to retain that volume and you don't retain them as customers, and therefore you don't retain them as coaches because you didn't follow up with them. You just kind of left them out to dry, and therefore they're not successful. So the fortune is in the follow-up, and that's where you go from acquisition to retention. I will, when I do my nutrition plan Zoom with people, I will literally say to them, and most of you that are on this call have done this with me, so you know my process. So maybe this isn't vastly helpful, but hopefully it is. I will then say to them, okay, so you have a program, this is what program we decided you're going to do. This is what products you're going to use. This is your nutrition plan. When would you like me to check in with you next? And how often from here on out would you like me to check on you? You're going to have people that will tell you they want you to check on them twice a day. And you're going to have people that are like, I'm good. I'll reach out if I need you. But you don't know that if you don't ask. And I kind of say it's like learning their love language in a way, learning your challenger's love language, but in a different sense. Because if you don't know your spouse's love language, how can you possibly communicate love to them, right? So as a coach, if you don't know your challenger's needs, then you can't possibly, you can't effectively coach them. So I will say, do you want me to reach out to you once a day, once a week, once a month? And whatever they tell me, I then put an alarm, and you guys know this because it's really fucking annoying if you have to spend time with me. But then I literally will label an alarm, and I'll say like, what time of the day is the most, like, when do you struggle the most? I have one girl that told me 2 o'clock because that's when, like, it's post lunch, it's in between lunch and dinner, it's quieter at work. She's usually bored, and she's like, if you could check on me at 2 p.m., that would be awesome because that's when I struggle the most. And I have other people that are like 10 p.m. That's when I'm settling in for the night and I just want to have popcorn with my TV show. Some people it's going to be the morning. So you have to ask them, probe them with questions and figure out what they need from you, and then set an alarm. Maybe, if you don't want to set an alarm, put a reminder in your phone, whatever system's going to work for you. But you need to have a way to track following up with them. Because in order, like I had somebody ask me when we were at Summit, was one of the coaches that was in the test group with me, and she's like, how many customers do you have that are recurring Shakeology every month? And she was asking me how I had that many people that were, she's like, I don't understand. I can sell challenge packs like crazy, and I'm always killing at Success Club points. Like, you don't even have high Success Club point numbers. So how do you have so many people recurring orders of Shakeology? And I was like, because I don't focus on the quantity. I focus on the quality. So I might not hit SC20 every single month. she hits SC20, SC30, but she's spending more time inviting and selling challenge packs, working for a commission, than she is spending time on the follow-ups. So, you know, a lot of you can attest to this as well, but I will schedule weekly follow-ups on a Zoom, not just a check-in. My check-ins might be daily for a little while, but I schedule a weekly check-in on Zoom where after that initial call, we check back in. And I'm like, how are you doing? Have you drank your shake? What flavors did you like? A lot of the times, guys, if you don't follow up with these people, they might try the shake, and I don't care if you tell them 15 million times not to shake it with water, they still might, right? And then a month goes by and you see that they're not a recurring order of Shakeology, and you're like, shit, what happened? You check in with her and she's like, oh, I didn't like the shakes, so I didn't get them again. And you're like, well, how did you make it? Oh, I shook it with water. So all of that can be eliminated way back before it even comes time for them to have a recurring order, if you just nip it in the bud right out the gates and you check in with them. Have you tried your shakes yet? Have you tried Energize yet? Yeah, I did, but I didn't really feel much from it. Okay, what's your weight? Should you be doing 2 scoops and not 1? That's another big one that I run into a lot. People that should be doing 2 scoops of Energize that are like, well, I've never done it before, so I'm going to do half of a scoop. And it does nothing for them because they missed the label that says 2 scoops if you're 160 pounds or more. So really, the fortune is in the follow-up, and really focus on retention, not just acquisition. And a piece of that I also want to talk about is education and how important it is to educate your challengers. So one thing that I heard we had a Diamond and Above team call today real quick at 12:30. And Annie had said something about how she basically I just lost my train of thought. Education. What was I talking about? Education. Oh, she does, or maybe, no, it was Kate Schultz. Sorry. Kate was saying how she does once a week, basically like a team call, but for her challengers. And she sends out a Zoom link that's like, you know, it's always the same time, the same day of the week. At this time, we're going to have a call every single week that you can jump on, and it's a challenge group call. You can hop on. I'm going to also record it so that you can hear it and watch the playback if it's a time that doesn't work for you. But she has a topic that she gets on and she talks to her challengers about. One, because education is huge for retention, right?
I'll pause you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just want to say that when I first started, I feel like I've told you this before, but
I was live all the time.
Was probably one of the reasons I started coaching.
Yeah.
So I really like that idea. We should definitely do that.
Okay. I'm writing it down. It's going to happen.
Okay.
So at the end of this call, let's decide on a day and a time. And obviously, let's avoid Mondays and let's avoid Tuesday. Although I don't really get on the Team Boom calls Tuesday, so I'm not totally opposed to doing it Tuesday. But let's try to find a time that the majority of us can get on, because it's going to start. And you know, Annie made this point today about the Zoom workouts, and I'm getting kind of sidetracked a little bit, but she was saying, like, you just got to keep doing it. You just got to keep showing up. And it's like with team calls, you know, you'll hear Ashley Feldyson, who has over 100 coaches on her team calls now, say, I had times where I got on and it was literally me talking to myself via Zoom, and I recorded it and I just leave it there for if people wanted to watch it. And a lot of the times I'd be like, why am I just talking to myself? But each week, 1 person got on, and then 2 people got on, and then 4 people were getting on. So Annie was saying, like, with the workout Zoom, the ones that we're doing at 6 a.m. on Wednesday and 9 a.m. on Saturdays, if all of us just keep showing up and we keep doing it consistently, more and more people are going to keep getting on. And I shared this with Ray earlier, but she does, at the end of the week, anybody who's new, who does a workout Zoom for their very first time, their name gets thrown into a raffle. And at the end of each week, there's a giveaway for those people. So it kind of gives them more motivation to get on and to do the Zoom as a group. But yes, doing a challenge group call, I think part of the reason why Kate has been so successful, not only with acquisition, because her SC numbers are insane, but retention, is because she does pour so much into her challenge group. Like, she does a lot in her challenge groups. One of those being how she talks about how important education is. And a lot of the times if you have people that are on Shakeology and they don't reorder, it's because you haven't done a good enough job. And I hate to put it as blunt as this, but it's true. Either they didn't like it and maybe you gave them 10 different ways to drink it and they still didn't like it. That's a separate issue. But a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, it's because you as a coach didn't do a good enough job educating them on what the shake is and what the benefits of it are and why it's so important. So, you know, what are you doing to educate your challengers? I have that Shakeology document that I send to almost every single person that I do a meal plan Zoom call with. I will share my screen and I show it to them. And I go through very briefly, like digestive enzymes, pre and probiotics, and I see there's my lunch. And then I tell them, like, this is why these are so important and this is what it does for your body. A lot of people will walk into a GNC and they won't even blink at spending $50 on a probiotic as a capsule. They won't even blink at it. But they don't have any clue that that's in Shakeology or that digestive enzymes are or all these other things that they would easily walk into a GNC and pay a fortune for. So a lot of that comes from the fact that if you ever walk into a GNC or a Vitamin World or any of those places, they literally have people that just the second you walk in, go right to you and they're like, what are you looking for? What can I help you with? And they spend so much time educating you on what it is you're interested in buying and why you should buy it. So that's your job as a coach. Education is so huge. And if you're sitting there and you're like, I legitimately have no freaking clue why Shakeology is important because you don't have the education yourself, then we have to fix that. And that's also true for nutrition planning. If you don't feel comfortable doing a Zoom call, ask me, ask Ray, ask anybody that's been doing them forever. Like, we will happily get on and help you. We will give you tips on it. Like, I get on with all of my newer girls still. Nicole and I just planned one for, I don't know when, I forgot already, but it's happening Wednesday, sometime Wednesday evening. So don't be afraid to reach out and say, like, it takes time, guys. You almost have to teach yourself this stuff. Educate yourself so that you can educate your challengers. So follow up and then educate them so that you can retain them. So much of this business in being successful, money-wise, financially, is retention, is recurring volume and recurring orders. So that's going to stem from educating your challengers and following up with them to make sure, like, staying on them. And some days it's exhausting, and I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and tell you it's not, because I have some challengers that literally I still check in with every single day, every day. And they've been on this journey for probably more than 6 months. And they keep falling off, even though I'm still checking in with them. But they're on my list. I check in with them. I follow up with them. I educate them. And from there, they make their own decisions. And I just try to support them and get them to retain their orders as much as possible. So retention is huge for financial reasons, but more importantly, getting them to retain their orders, and retention in terms of programs and products is going to be what gets them successful. At the end of the day, your goal, I don't care if you have 25 challengers and one person at the end of that period of time, 1 out of 25 has an incredible experience and an incredible transformation, and they feel like $1 million, so much so that they want to broadcast it to the whole world. If you have 1 out of 25, you had to work your ass off and you had to follow up with all 25 of those people and you stuck on them like white on freaking rice. One of them has a great story to share. That's all you need, because it starts with that one. And then that one person is going to have a fire lit under their ass so much that they're then going to go and they're going to find 25 people that they can't help but share this with. And out of those 25 people, one of their person, whatever, is going to have success so much so that they can't help but to share. And that one, and it just trickles. So that's really my biggest thing that I wanted to touch on tonight. Nicole is a really great example. I'm actually glad that she's on, because challenge group too. I want to touch on the challenge group, but real quick. So Nicole was somebody that came to me and I was like, I'm not sure, if she's going to work out. I'm not sure if she's going to follow the meal plan. We just found out not even 2 weeks ago how we even found each other on Instagram. We couldn't figure it out to save our lives, but apparently I followed an account that she followed, and then she followed me, or I followed her. We still don't even really know. But my point being, I didn't know when I signed Nicole as a challenger. I had absolutely zero clue what was going to happen. I was like, I don't know if she's going to like the products. I don't know if she's going to stay on them. I don't know what's going to happen. But like, I just poured the hell into her. And, you know, I would check in with her and she'd be like, yeah, can we do a Zoom and can we check in? Of course, let's do it. And we did a meal plan call, and she just hit this month Success Starter, which is like a huge deal in this business. Like 0.1% of coaches hit it. Beck hit it. But very rare does it happen. That's hitting Success Club your first 3 months as a coach, which very few coaches do. And I had no freaking idea that she was going to be, she was going to have the transformation she has. She's lost over 20 pounds, which is amazing. But she fell so in love with the programs and the products and her transformation that she wanted to share that. And now she is sharing that. And she actually like made me cry on vacation when she texted me. It was July 31st. And she's like, oh my God, Kim, I freaking did it. I hit SC6. And I was like, I literally was crying down by the water, because she was like, but I actually did it like without having to have my parents buy it or my husband buy stuff. I truly did it because I helped 3 people every month. And you will have people that you pour into them, guys, and you're going to have people that just drain the shit out of you. And you're like, wow, I did all of that work and nothing happened. And then you're going to have people like Nicole that are going to make you realize that it's so worth all of it. So pour into them, follow up with them, and get them. And, you know, I know Beck's story is very similar, but get them to literally fall so in love with their own experience that they can't help but share it with others. And lastly, you know, really encourage them to be present in the challenge group, because you're going to, and be conscious of, I know there's like a million posts a day and it's kind of hard to keep up. But be conscious of the people who are really good at posting in the challenge group, and they check in every single day, and the people that comment on everybody else's stuff. Those are the people that, to me, it's a flag. Like, that's a coach, you know, and you'll start to pick up on that with your challengers. So pay attention not only to, you know, their journey themselves outside of the group, but really watch them in the group and encourage them to do activities that are coach-like activities. Encourage them to share on their Instagram stories. Encourage them to do a post with their transformation and share that with the world. Encourage them just to post in the group. You're going to have some people that are so freaking shy, they don't even want to post in the challenge group. So start warming them up to the process of being a coach, getting them on Zoom calls like this. I think that's why the challenge group Zooms will be so effective. And train, you're almost training them to be a coach. But more importantly, your goal is to be able to say to them, like, dude, you should be a coach. Like, you post like a coach, you comment like a coach, you share like a coach, you act like a coach, like you're a coach, to the point that they're like, shit, I am a coach. And then it all just happens from there. So, Ray, is there anything I missed? So if there's anything, we can do a quick Q&A. But I hope that that's helpful. I really, you know, I've built it. When I first started my business, I really was so focused on commission, SC numbers. And I didn't, like, I was the same way. I could sell challenge packs and it was so easy for me, but I couldn't get people to stay on the shakes, and I couldn't get people to stay on the programs. And like, I couldn't figure out why, because I'm like, I'm so consistent with my own journey. Why is nobody else doing the same? Like, what am I missing? And it was that I thought just by sharing my own journey that was enough, but it's not. Like, you can keep showing up. That's a big important piece of it, right? Like, they're going to look to you and see if you're still doing it, if you're still doing the programs. Like, what you do, your challengers will emulate. So you have to still show up and you have to share your journey, and you have to be consistent. But on top of that, you have to follow up with them and make sure that they're being consistent too. You can't lose them in the shuffle. And it's easy when you get further in your business and you have a lot of new challengers starting every single month, and you have coaches that have other people starting, and it's easy to kind of, you have all these messages going. It's easy to lose people. So try to regroup. Like I try to regroup at least twice a month. Every 2 weeks I try to regroup where I'm like, okay, who do I have? Like, who are my I have a column in my streak that's like struggling challengers. And those are the people that I just like really make sure I pay extra special attention to. And then I have a column that's like potential coaches. Who are the people that I'm flagging mentally, that I'm watching them in the group and I'm seeing a potential in them as coaches, or I see their transformation or they're sharing their transformation with me. And like do a mental check-in with yourself. Like, who are my challengers that I need to really watch? And the other thing that I want to say is don't discount your discount coaches, but also more importantly, do not make up your mind on who's going to be a top coach and who isn't. Because what I've learned in this business is like 9 times out of 10, the people that I think are going to slay the hell out of this business do absolutely nothing with it. And the people that I'm like, I'll be, surprised if they really even enjoy this program and they hang with me for 30 days are the people that somehow blow my freaking mind. And I'm like, whoa, and there's so many different reasons why. Like you could, like with Nicole, my apprehension was she had already done Beachbody twice, right, Nick? One time. Okay, so she did Beachbody one time before me. Different coach, different experience, and she didn't have, like, she enjoyed, it was 21 Day Fix, right?
Yeah.
And so, she had decent results, but it was not the experience that she had with our challenge group. And she, the community was a lot for her, and our check-ins were a lot for her. So there's going to be so many different reasons. Like I was apprehensive. I'm like, this girl's already done Beachbody. She had a different coach. Like it's probably like, I don't know I'm nothing special. Like, what do I have to offer that other coach didn't? And I almost sold her short because I just assumed like, well, what happened last time will happen this time. And I sold myself short as a coach. So don't sell yourself short, and don't make any sort of assumption in any way, shape, or form of anybody, any challenger. I don't care if they've done Beachbody 5 times before. I was listening to a call where Kate McGinty just said this on the Team Boom call. There's going to be so many people, so many coaches that see, their messaging, and they're having this invite conversation with a potential person on, let's say, Instagram. And the girl's like, oh, I've done Beachbody before. And she's like, 90% of coaches see that and they're like, I'm out. But she's like, I am all the in on those conversations, because that means they already know the programs, they already know the products, they probably just had a really shitty experience with a shitty coach. And it sounds bad to say, but guys, the majority of people that start this business are not successful as coaches. Like the majority of people that start coaching do it for the wrong reasons. It's like The Bachelor. Are they there for the right reasons? Like literally. And I know that's a horrible analogy, but it's true. Like 90% of people that start coaching, they just want money, and they want money fast. And so they don't give a shit if you like the program, or if you're doing the program, or if you like Shakeology. They just don't give a shit, because they just want to keep making money, and they're trying to do the get rich fast theme, and it doesn't work in this business. You have to invest. What you put in, what you give to your challengers, you will get back, but it takes patience and it takes persistence. So don't sell anybody short. If you're talking to somebody and they're like, I've already done Beachbody 3 times, good. Okay, so do it a 4th time, and let me show you how the F I'm different, right? And have confidence in yourself. Also have confidence in our team, and have confidence in our challenge group, because I had a coach, she's one of the top in our area. She's in our challenge group, and she just texted me the other day, and she was like, dude, I got to tell you, your challenge group is fire. She's like, I know you question yourself a lot, and I know you're always like, what can I do better? What can I do better? What can I do better? And she's like, your challenge group is like lit compared to, she's in a lot of other top coaches challenge groups, and she's like, they're dull. They're dead. They're the same shit over and over and over again. So have confidence in us as a community, us as a team, and what you're inviting people to, because we have so much value as a team. We really, truly do. We're super well-rounded, and we have so much value to offer to people. So I hope that that's helpful. I hope that that's like, my biggest thing is just pour the hell into them, and everything that you give you will get back, and you will absolutely have people that you pour into that you don't immediately get back from, but it always comes full circle, and nothing worth having comes easy. You're going to have to put in the work, and you're going to have to put in the hustle, but it will pay off. It's just, you know, initially, who was I? Oh, I was talking to Beck. So I was talking to Beck on the way to Vermont, and, you know, she was saying like how she had 6 coaches, and then everybody just all at once just kind of, it crumbled, and she was super discouraged, going through a tough time, as pretty much everybody here on this call knows, like, with her kids and with her son, and health issues and things. So everything's fine. But tough time for her. And we were talking about how that happened to me. I know Ray can attest to that too. I mean, we've literally all been there. And I built a team for it to crumble. And I started from ground up. You're going to put in a lot of time and a lot of hustle. And some people it's going to pay off, and some people it's not. That's just, it's the whole escalator mindset. So at some point you just have to make the decision that stopping is not an option. And you're going to get on that escalator that's moving down, and you're going to run up it, and you're not going to stop until you get to the top. Because I promise you, once you get to the top, you look down and you're like, wow, that was a struggle. That was hard. But now I'm here, and it's just residual income. And I can, you know, go have a baby and be on maternity leave, and my business will run itself. You know, I can go, like, I went on vacation, and I was so out of touch, which stressed me out because it was the beginning of a challenge group. I'm like, the first freaking week, I'm like, with shitty service, all out of touch with everything. But you guys ran that group like butter. It was, I didn't have to worry about anything. And our challenge group on Facebook ran like butter. Everything was taken care of. I didn't have to worry about anything. So that's the goal, is to get to a point in your business where it literally can run itself. So all of that being said, I know I talked a lot. Hopefully it's helpful. I'm going to do a quick group picture if we can. I'm going to do a screenshot. So everybody get ready, and I will tell you when. Take your time, get ready, get in position. Okay, ready? Here we go. Let me tuck my hair. Ooh, okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. I will share that in the group. Do you guys have any questions? Do you have anything that you're like burning desire to ask? Do you have things, is there anything that I said that you're like, I don't get it, or I wish you would clarify that more or elaborate more on that? Is there anything you want to know about the Morning Meltdown 100 Challenge group?
I have a question. I have a couple of questions. One, like besides our Morning Meltdown group, because I see that we have the calendar.
Yeah.
Where are we in our rotation on our challenge group on whose week is who? I forgot where I'm supposed to go.
So we're not really anywhere.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were for May and June, and then July started, and we were going to start doing the polls again. But I think when we were transitioning to Morning Meltdown 100, yeah, we didn't continue on with our challenge group. So we can start that back up again. I think I'm fine with it. We'll just try to make it where it's spread out, so it's not like the person who's doing Meltdown 100 is doing the polls, and give you a little bit of a break, so it's not like 1 week after the next. Not that it's that big of a deal, but it's another thing to worry about. And I don't want you guys to get to this place where you're just like, every week you have something, like it's like, well, this week I have the life posts, and this week I have Morning Meltdown 100, and this week I have the challenge group, and like, I don't want you to be where there's just always something, you know? But I do think the polls make a big difference. And I think, you know, if we could get back to, you know, something like I can actually even look into it, like the challenge group guide that Shauna got from Morning Meltdown 100. I know there's ones out there like that for just free groups, for generic challenge groups. So we could always look into getting like a template like that. It's so simple with Morning Meltdown 100. I literally scheduled the whole week's post.
I'm going to have to look into it. I'm doing Friday, but Friday's just more of an emotional one, not one from that. I just make it up.
Yep.
And then back on your topic.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the transition of coaching where I either need to take a big leap.
Yep.
I feel very nervous, and I never feel nervous about a lot of things.
Yep.
Like a big leap of investing more time than what I've been doing.
Yep.
To get to that next level. So I don't know. I'm just really nervous about it because I'm just like, I need to either dive in or just continue. Like I've just been coasting.
Yep.
I'm doing well at coasting, but I just know if I want to do more with it, I need to invest more time and into the challengers and so I don't get overwhelmed easily, and it's just overwhelming me emotionally.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where to go with it.
I totally can relate to where you are, because I remember distinctly, it was after I had Mackenzie that I'm going to stop the recording real quick.
Yeah. Like